Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Newsgram. Today, I've got a work of fiction for you, and it hits surprisingly close to home. It's set in a world where technology is running full steam ahead. Surveillance is everywhere, governments are watching more closely than ever, and major institutions have become ruthless. Sound familiar? Yeah, me too. And in the middle of all that, there's a man named Christopher who is about to rewrite the rules. It all begins when opportunity knocks loudly, and he decides to seize it. The book is titled It's Good to Be Bad, Chronicles of the Guild by E. Linsen, or as we get to call him, Eduardo.
One defining moment in the book is pretty much at the beginning, when he has to decide whether to stay firm to his principles or to cave and do something that is pragmatic, very profitable for him, but he will treason the principles under which he was raised. And he decides to do what he feels is right, because if he doesn't and things don't go right, he's left with nothing. So net, that puts him literally with a shattered future into the need of doing something new. And that is the starting point of the story.
We all face moral dilemmas, and the choices are rarely easy. We lean on instinct, experience, our upbringing, all the invisible stuff that shapes who we are.
I have 4 kids, and I try to teach them exactly that. And to be honest, when we talk about these topics, everybody agrees that we should do what is right. But when you're confronted with the urgencies and surviving needs, you tend to negotiate principles with surviving, right? And this dilemma really measures people, right? How far you have to be pressured before you cave, right? And this is the main character is like my hero, right? And it's what I would like, not just to see myself, but I would like my kids really to behave. And well, that creates a lot of tensions and emotions, and this is life.
I did mention that this is a work of fiction, and that always makes my job kind of tricky because I don't want to spoil anything, but here's the setup. The main character is Christian. Now, he's tasked with finding a solution to a major problem, and it's one that involves laundering large sums of money in ways that are legal and discreet. And yes, I did just say laundering money and legal in the same sentence.
Laundering money is a concept that is usually misused. So it is a very broad term, laundering money. When you are asked to implement or structure transactions, and I've been a banker for many years, right? It's a topic that I'm familiar with. And what you do is enable those transactions to flow through the system legally, but undetected. You create an enormous, powerful situation in which you can remove comfort zones from very important people, normally government, regulators, partners, whatever, right? And that circumstance forces different parts of the society to react against the main character. And I try to portray the different views of these different people, right? And they have arguments against the main character. And I try to make them, logical and I would say persuasive in their stances, because we all see the problem from different angles. And at the end, well, the main character has wins and losses, and well, the story evolves to an end that I believe is quite satisfying, although it's not perfectly successful for everybody.
I should tell you, Eduardo has spent more than 40 years in international banking. He's been all the C's, a CFO, a COO, and a CEO at some of the most prestigious American and European financial institutions. But turning all that experience into fiction, that took some discipline.
I wrote the book. At the beginning, I started with a small projects, and it grew in its complexity as I was developing this story. when I finish it, I didn't like it, so I have to edit it all from scratch again because I found it to be too technical, probably trying to show off myself as a presumptuous expert in the financial world regarding how to trick everybody, right? So that's not the purpose. So I scale it down totally, right, to make it, more normal talking. And when I finished, I was pleased.
Eduardo brings sharp judgment, strategic thinking, and decades of real-world experience to the page, and all of that adds depth and complexity to the story. But the main character, Christopher, doesn't carry the narrative alone. He's supported by 2 loyal childhood friends and a wise godfather, all balanced against a diverse cast of villains. And Eduardo says writing this cast of characters was one of the most enjoyable parts of the whole process.
And let me tell you, there's a big temptation every now and then to inject your own thoughts and trying to look smart and over-educated when you write, and to contain this and wear the shoes of each of the characters when they speak or when they behave. And it's amazing.
So from what you've heard so far, you can probably see why I would summarize this book with 3 simple words: principles, courage, and chess. Every decision hits one of those 3 notes, and the stakes only get higher as the story moves forward.
Well, I hope that you enjoy the book. I did it with great passion and interest, and if you do so, I'm sure that the second book will keep the same sort of appeal because it's an in crescendo type of evolution of the story. So let's see. I'm really looking forward to see the reaction from the public.
The book is clever, suspenseful, and unsettlingly plausible. Yes, I borrowed that phrasing from the online description, but honestly, I couldn't come up with anything better. It's the first installment of a planned trilogy, and maybe even a movie someday.
And there is a producer right now looking to eventually make it a movie or a TV series, because the story lends itself easily to this sort of projects.
I hope it does. It's Good to Be Bad is a razor-sharp thriller that reminds us that when the world is stacked against you and you're trying to remain principled, it's not necessarily about being good. It's about being good at being bad. It's available right now online at Amazon or wherever you like to buy books online. And that will do it for this edition of Newsgram from webtalkradio.com. Thanks for listening.